Hello everybody, and boy oh boy do I have a milestone. So first part of the milestone is this is the first ever episode on series on my channel to hit 40 episodes. So that's pretty cool. But actually that was the biggest part of the milestone. I kinda lied about the second part. That's the biggest part. First, this is the longest ever series on my channel. Very continuous, it's always been high in demand, and it's been running for quite a while. And so I'm very, very happy with how the series has gone. And I think what I was trying to say with the second part of my announcement was actually, to celebrate that, we are going to be doing a grand tour of our city. Also, as you can see according to this, we are pretty close to the milestone of 44,000 population. We're currently at 38,000, which is pretty cool. But like I just said, we are going to be doing a tour of our entire city for the 40th episode of this series. And if I accidentally, this is like the 39th episode or the 41st episode, I am going to be really, really sad and upset. Not with anybody, but only myself. So without further ado, let's get started. And we are actually just going to move left to right. So starting out, this is our industrial sector. This is where the industry is, hence the name industrial sector. As well as this sort of strip of land over here that is also all industrial. You're probably wondering why there are so many abandoned buildings, and that's just how it gets over time. They get abandoned fairly frequently. Anyway, moving on, this is where our electricity is. Not all of it, actually a very small part. But the biggest part of this area is this is where our water gets drawn from, so that's pretty cool. This right here, by the way, is a waste center, so landfills and incinerators and that sort of thing. But then all of this space that I'm outlining here with my mouse, that is all low density residential, and that is where a majority of our city's income comes from, is the low density residential. It's all very high level, and it is all very nice. And over here, this is all commercial, low density commercial. So this doesn't make us that much money, but it is, I just kind of like looking at it. It's pretty nice contrast compared to everything else. This is another waste area along with more industry and commercial. And then this is one of my favorite parts of the city. This is our high density residential area, and it's very nice. Statue of Liberty, football stadium. I'm not sure if there are any other monuments, but I do enjoy this part of the city. This is more low density commercial, by the way, if I'm correct. And this over here is the high density commercial with 3 landmarks on top of this type of energy solar power plant. That's what it is. And that's pretty cool. Also, I forgot to mention, a lot of our energy comes from coal and oil power plants that sit over here in this part of the city. So that's where a lot of our energy comes from. This over here, now we're going to get into my experiments. This is my little triangle city, and I actually like this area quite a bit. I think it is very nice. And traffic's not too bad. It's all low density residential to keep the traffic down. And I like it. I just think it's a fascinating area. Over here, of course, we have this experiment which went and I don't really ever pay any attention to it. It's kind of ugly and doesn't really function that great, but and over here we have our final experiment, which is a city that only has curved roads, and this one actually got built very, very recently, so I haven't really had a lot of time to see how this develops. But it is currently completely independent from the rest of the city, so we'll have to fix that soon, maybe in between episodes. This is, I don't really know what this was. I was just screwing around. Same with that. That's sewage, by the way. It's just sort of a pond. It doesn't affect this city, so it doesn't really matter. This is just something I have here. I don't know why. Just more being stupid, I guess. But as you can see at night, you can really see the contrast between these two areas, which I think is really cool. That's another garbage area, by the way. That's actually another experiment, but nothing ever came of it. It's a roundabout connected by roads, so very boring. But that's all the main stuff. Now time to get into more of the nuances of the city. That's wind. This is where all the sewage comes out. This down here is a hydroelectric dam, which cuts down the water flow a lot, but it produces some electricity, not actually that much compared to the other technology we have. but I found it fascinating, so I built it. As with most things in the city, we have a lot of money, so I can basically build whatever I want, and it's fun. If we go to statistics here, and we go down to, where is it, public transportation, you will see that an underground metro runs all the way through this part of the city, as well as having a lot of buses. That is a big thing. There are buses everywhere. We don't have that many residents use them, but they do exist. We also have passenger trains to lead from over there to over there, and we have cargo trains that are right here, just one. Yeah, that's it. We have the underground metro, the train, and the buses. Moving on, this is our fire safety. It's pretty good. Traffic, bad at some parts, but not horrible. Health is pretty good. 6 citizens, 110, but our heal capacity is 1600, and average health is 84%, which isn't great, but isn't horrible. I've seen worse. Education is something that I take pride in. We have like 3 times what we need for each of these. Actually, I'm not going to say 3 times. That's 3 times. That's 2 times. That is 3 times. Public library is like 10 times, because we only have 66 users, but I have a capacity of 600. Plenty of water, availability and sewage treatment. Same thing with electricity. Garbage is a bit of a different story, but we have enough to keep up. Crime rate is 6%, and we have plenty of jail capacity, so that's good. And there was another thing I want to look at, not terrain height. Where is it? Land value. So as you can see, low density residential has extremely high land value. You start moving out towards these zones, and it gets to be blue. Less people want to live there. It's actually quite blue over here, which I don't understand. I would love to live over here. I think it looks really nice. I understand why that's blue. No, I wouldn't want to live there. Of course, around resident or industrial, it's basically nothing, and commercial is pretty consistently a dark blue, so right in the middle, because you don't want to live there, but it has value because of its strategic location. Finally, pollution. It's contained to the areas where it needs to be, where the landfills are, where the sewage is, that sort of thing. It's kept away from the citizens very strategically, and by that I mean I just buffer them using commercial, because apparently nobody in the commercial zones cares about being polluted, so that's cool. Our citizen happiness could be better, but what really matters is residential, which is at 92%, which is good for us. And so, I mean, I was talking pretty fast paced there. You probably heard me swallow a few times because my mouth was getting really dry talking that much. But that about does it. We have a very odd, very basic and also very different city. But I really have enjoyed building it this far, all through the 40 episodes, and I've had a lot of fun just experimenting. But anyway, on that very joyous note, I thank you all so much for giving me the encouragement to get this series to 40 episodes. And I thank you all very much for your support. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one. Bye.